Hello everybody. Today we are going to paint a parrot. Welcome to the second week of doing, well, I guess this is about the second week, but I've been doing this now at least all week last week, and then I started on Wednesday of the following, so yeah. We are making parrots today. This is a watercolor class. Feel free to join me. We have been having some fun. Everybody's going to make this parrot. We're going to practice first, and then we're going to draw. But I wanted to show you all what we're going to do for the rest of the week, too, so you can see what's coming. So this is today. We're making a pirate tomorrow, and the funny story about this is that I had originally thought that we make this parrot small enough that we could fit him on the pirate. Didn't happen, but you know, now after we make a big one, you all could go in and make a small one. Hello, Amy Bellis. Hello, Aaron Wood. Hello, Ruby Bailey and Grant. Hello, Shannon. Hello, Aaron. So, this is Tuesday, and so we are going to make a pirate. We can make girl pirates and boy pirates. I'm pretty excited about it. We are also, on Wednesday, we're going to start celebrating Easter, so we're going to do little chickadees, little baby chicks. So, this is our Wednesday class. And then our Thursday class is going to be bunnies. Hop, 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 hop around. So that is what we are going to do this week. Wednesday is the chick. Tuesday is the pirate. And today is the great parrot. So if you are first joining us, know that you can just use any kind of paper, but I like this watercolor paper. It is 140-pound paper right there. And you don't have to have anything really special to paint with. This is just a cheapo little watercolor thing, palette, and a paintbrush, some paper towels. In order to save my paper, I actually cut it in half. So that's what I do my final project on. But I do these exercises that we're about to do, I actually do it on half of that. So that is what we're going to work on next. We are going to work on our exercises. So today, because we're doing our parrot, let's see if I can't get all my act together here. Let me clean this up. So today, and you know what else? I'm going to show those one more time. So Monday is a parrot. Tuesday is a pirate. Wednesday is a chick. And then Thursday is the Easter bunny, Peter Rabbit. So, okay. So we are going to make this parrot, and we are first going to exercise, and we are going to figure out how to do this right here. How do we go from one color to the other? And do you see how it's kind of blended right there, right? That is what we are going to work on today, which is sort of like we've been doing with the little baby tornadoes that we've been making. So we're going to put all that to the side. We're going to get one of our boards out. It's time for practice. Let's see. Well, I was trying to see if y'all could see it at the same time. It's going to be hard for me to do. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we are first going to activate our watercolors. Right? How do we activate our watercolors? There's a couple ways, right? First way is you can spray them. It is my preferred way. Second, thank you, Amanda. That is so sweet. I'm so glad that you like these classes. I enjoy doing them. Okay, and so to activate them, if you don't have a spray bottle, what do? Does anyone remember? We come in and we take our water and then we put it in our color. I guess you all, there you go, now you can see it. And then you wipe it down on your paper towel, and then you put it in your water. Then you do the next one. Then you put it on your paper towel. You always want to come back to our watercolor palette with a clean brush. We don't want to make a mess of our watercolors. We want to keep them pure and pretty, pretty, right? Which means we have to control how much water we actually put on our brush before we go and do this. And that, my dears, is how you activate your palette. Okay, so, hello Gary. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you all are enjoying these classes. Okay, so here we are. We've activated our color palette, and now we are going to work on little mini tornadoes, sort of, but a little bit different. So I've got my paper right there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water, and I'm going to come in here with the blue, and I'm going to kind of paint a line, right? And do you see how I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down? It's kind of like a hash marks this time. Now I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go to a green. And I'm going to come right next to it, okay? And I'm going to first off I'm going really close to it, but I'm not touching it. Y'all see that? There you go. Now you can see it, right? Okay, I'm very close to it. I'm going to clean off my brush. I'm going to take some water now. There you go. And I'm going to dip water right in the middle there. And do you see how it's blending it? I'm going to bring that right up there so you can see. I'm having to do both, of course. Okay. We're going to do that same thing, and we're going to do it next to the green. Okay? So, on that one, I'm going to go with a yellow. So I'm going to take my yellow, I'm going to come over here, get really close to it, but I'm not touching it yet. I'm going to clean off my brush, going to get some water, and I'm going to dip it right in the middle of that little area. And do you see how it mixes it for me? Oh, that's so pretty. I love it. 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 All right, we're going to keep on going down the line. So I think we're going to do orange next. We're kind of making a little baby rainbow a little bit. So I'm going to get some orange on my paintbrush. And I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to go really, really little here. Right next to the yellow. And I'm leaving a little bit of white space. I'm going to wipe off my brush, clean it, get some water. Then I'm going to put a dot right down the middle there. And we're going to watch it bleed. And so it starts bleeding, and that's when it mixes really pretty. Now, I'm going to continue, and I'm going to go to red. So I'm going to go to red. And I'm going to get it really close to it. Just like that. I'm going to wipe off. Ooh, did you all see that? I actually went to my water first. I should have wiped my paintbrush on my paper towel first, but I put it in the water. That's okay. All right, and now I'm going to put a little drop of water right in that area to watch it blend. Now, if you notice, if I keep doing it, I then can actually kind of come in and I'm painting it a little bit, and I can make it go one way or the other. Y'all see that prettiness? Okay, I'm coming in, and next my next color on my palette is a pretty pink purple color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So today I'm going to go into my pinky purple color, and I'm going to go in and go right beside it. We're just doing exercises right now. We will get to our parrot very, very soon. But I want us to make sure that we know how to blend colors first before we actually do the actual parrot. So I'm then taking my water and I'm blending these two. Now that red was really, really strong, so I may need to actually have more water than I'm used to. You see that? Ooh, there it goes. Now another thing that you could do, this is if you're really, really easy. Do you see? I'm lifting it up and it's bleeding all over the place. I'm controlling the water puddles. Y'all see that? And bring it back down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go do some green around this part right here. Okay? So I'm taking some green and I'm going right next to it. Now, this doesn't work that well if it's dried. It only works wet on wet. And do you see what color green and pinky color makes? It's not a very pleasant color. That's because they're complements of each other almost. Complement colors are opposite of the color wheel. And that was too close. That's why I'm getting kind of a browny color. Okay? Now, here's what we're going to do. So, I think we're going to, let's see, let's try this. Let's see what we can do with just blues. Coming in with my blue, and I'm going to go, and I am making like a little tornado there is what I did. I went all the way to light color. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to go with my dark blue right next to it at the bottom of it. And this time I'm touching it. I'm touching that water. And I'm lightening up my touch as I do it. Now, I still have this line, right? I'm going to see what I can do with that line. So I've got some water on my brush. And I'm putting it in there. And that is how I'm blending it. Now, that should be a lighter blue, darker blue, right? But it was really close. So I'm now going to go to my even darker blue. Now, I realize that some of you might not have all of these colors. So if that's the case, just practice. Now, you see how that one did it pretty good, right? That one went and blended really nice and clean. Oh, I like that a lot. That's going to be very similar to our parrot's wing here. This is a very important little skill here to figure out how do we get these colors to actually blend together, okay? So, that is our exercise for the day. Has everyone got our exercise? We're good to go here? Yes? Okay, so we're going to set this up over to the side, and we are now going to draw our parrot. Okay, so I'm going to just put this up here at the top. I'm going to get our parrot, and I'm going to show you a few things on our parrot first. A parrot is basically 3 shapes. Okay, 3 shapes. It's a circle, oval, which is elongated circle, right? And that is a rectangle. The tail is a rectangle. So, circle, oval, rectangle. All right, and that's what we're going to work on. So, let's get our piece of paper out. And I don't know if y'all remember this, if you were with me, but I like to divide the piece of paper into 3, a tic-tac-toe board, okay? So, I do this very, very lightly. And the reason you want to do it lightly is because you want to probably erase these. So, I'm coming in. Everybody can see me? Yes, I think so. That's great. Alright, so I'm coming in and I'm going, making a tic-tac-toe board. I'm going to draw a little bit darker than I normally do. Okay, can you all see that? Tic-tac-toe, tic-tac-toe. Okay, now, the reason I do a tic-tac-toe board is because when we do this, we want to make it big. We don't want to make this small. All right, we want to make a big parrot. So, because parrots are big, right? So, here we go. If you notice that this first circle is towards the first quadrant over here on the right-hand side. So, I'm going to make a big old circle. Y'all see how I'm practicing my circle? I went around and around and around. Y'all see that? See. And I do that because I'm practicing going around and around and around. And I know that I'm going to be able to erase this later if I want. Okay, so that's my head. Now I'm going to make my oval. And my oval is going to be tilted, angled a little bit. So I'm actually going to angle it cattywampus. And do y'all see how that, y'all can barely see that, can't you? And now what we're going to do is we're going to do our tail, our very last tail. So here's my tail. I'm going to just go, and here I'll tell you a secret. I started researching parrots. Their tails are almost as long as their entire body. So don't be short on your tail here. Make it as long as possible. And I just made it go all the way off the piece of paper because I just might as well. And now I'm going to put a stick in this. So here I am. I'm going to go ahead to the angled. And that is just 2 lines all together. Now, I have a rough shape of my parrot. Anybody else going, this does not look like a parrot yet? We can get you there. We can get there. So, all right, here we are. So, now we have to add details to this. Now, I want you to continue to draw lightly. I'm not drawing lightly on purpose, okay? So, my first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this face. I want you to see the face. There's a circle. And then there's an oval shape. So here I go. I'm going to make a circle. And then I'm going to make an oval. A pointed oval. Almost like, y'all see that? Almost like a football, but I don't connect it over here by the eye. Okay, so that's good. Now we need to make this big old wing. And do you all see that this first shape that we drew here is a little bit small compared to the body? That's okay because that can be this wing right here. All right, so that means we're going to come out from that wing and we are going to go and make it just a tad bit bigger. Y'all see that? So I did this line right here. So I connected the head to the body with this line. And then I connected the head, the top part of the head, almost from the beak, and made it a little bit fatter down here. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here to this wing, and I really like this wing. The wing just needs this little spot right here, this little triangle shape, right? The little tips of the wings. Okay. Hi, Desiree. Okay, so here we go. So I've made a wing right there. Now, I've also gonna come in here and I'm adding little squiggles for this tail. Anybody else see that? Now, I'm getting confused. Anybody else getting confused? One, I go too fast, right? Everybody says that. But I do that on purpose because we have to do this all in an hour or Instagram literally cuts me off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase. And I am using a kneaded eraser. But that doesn't mean you can't use the tip of your pencil either, okay? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to erase the lines that are confusing me. One, I don't need to have my tic-tac-toe board anymore. So I'm going to erase my tic-tac-toe board. Okay. Yes, and that makes me feel better. Already looking a little bit better. That's why I wanted them to make sure that they were nice and light. Next, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to erase some of this wing so it's all one shape. And you know, it's this head that bothers me. So I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to erase part inside of the beak and inside of this eyeball area. Now, actually, I didn't like that at all, so I'm actually erasing that whole big circle there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make there you go. I just made it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to add an eye. I'm going to shave off some of his head. Now, you're going, that looks a little rough. I'm saying the same thing. That's okay, though. We'll get there. It's amazing what paint can do. Although, I will say this. We kind of need feet. I forgot feet. So, I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to add these. Parrot feet are huge. So, these claw things. And it's basically, I'm going to call them little bananas. And I did several bananas all together there. So one is this one right here, okay? And then the second one is the forward one. All right. Now, I have a picture of a parrot sitting right next to me, so I'm going to now paint it. Now, before I start painting, I want to say, does anybody have any questions? Because I know that I went fast. And I also know that the drawing is really important. Especially in watercolor, I'll say. Watercolor is a very good skill to practice your drawing skills. And one of the reasons is that it helps do your drawing skills, basically. I mean, if it doesn't look good, then your paint doesn't help you much, is the truth of the matter. Okay, so I'm going to start with red. Mine is a red parrot. No one asked me any questions, so I'm going to keep on going. Should the eye be a little bit little or big? The eye is actually really, really small. And then it has this thing around it. So if you were going to draw this little dot here, I would actually make it maybe smaller than what I have. All right, so I'm going to continue and I'm going to start painting. So I want us to pay attention to how much water we have on our brush most of the time. Okay, so for the first part of this, I want us to have not a lot of water on our brush. So that means I'm coming to the water and I'm actually like draining it a little bit, but it is a wet brush, and then I go into my red paint. And the way you know that you don't have a lot of water on your brush is that it should make a really nice red line. If it's a weak and it doesn't have a whole lot of color, then chances are you might have too much water on your brush. And if that's the case, then you should probably go and put it on your paper towel and wipe it off. And I want you to also pay attention to, I'm not really paying that close attention to all of my lines. I'm going outside of the lines a little bit. And you know, parrots sometimes kind of have this little fray right there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of ruffle feathers. Okay. I'm now, after I do my first round, so remember, watercolors is a bunch of layers. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one color and then go to the next color. And then we're going to do it again. So I'm going to wipe off my brush. And now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do some orange. So I don't have a lot of water on my brush. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to do the top half of my wing. I'm also going to come down and do this bottom half right here of the tail. So now what I'm going to, you know what, I think, no, I'm not going to. So I'm going to wipe off my brush and I'm going to actually now go to green. I think I'm going to go to green. I'm not going to touch this area right in here. I'm going to do it really light. This is back to what we practiced. I had way too much water on my brush for that. Okay, now we remember how we blend those colors. We add water to it, right? So I'm going to literally wipe my paper towel, take my water in my brush, not too much of it, just a little bit, and I'm going to come in here and touch in between the orange and the green, just to blend those just a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. Everybody with me? Maybe? Probably not. Probably going too fast. It's okay. We're right now, don't pay too much attention to detail. We're just getting color down, okay? I'm going to go to blue next. So I'm going to come in here, get some blue on my paintbrush. I'm not, oh, you know what we should have done? We should have done green down here. I've wiped it on my paintbrush. I'm going to go back to green. The reason I'm doing that is that I want us to be able to have these things. So I've painted a little bit of green, got my water on it. I want them to dry a little bit. I call it resting. The paint needs to rest and dry a little bit before we go to the next color. So I'm going to go back. I'm now going to do my blue. So I'm coming in here with my blue. Not touching, but close to touching. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do it to this one too. Blue in that area. Then I'm going to get me some water and I'm going to go between the green and the blue. Green and the blue. And I'm going to let it blend it for me. Same thing for down here on the tail. How's that? How are we doing? Are we seeing a rainbow yet? Is it blending? Okay, so right now, I'm now going to go to a different, if I don't go to a blue, maybe it's a pink or another green. I think I'm going to go to even a darker blue. You see my blue right there is just a little bit more, it's got some green in it. And I'm going to continue. So I go in and I mix that color with some water, right? where it's not touching. I'm loving these colors. Is anybody else loving these colors yet? I think I'm going to go down here and I'm going to make this tip. What color should we make that tip? I think I'm going to go red. I didn't like that. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go over it with orange. I'm trying really hard not to touch that blue. Going back over it with some orange down here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and blend those. Very easy. And remember, we did when we, there we go. Now I'm going to paint. After you've painted that part, we need to paint the branch that it sits on. So I'm going to go into some brown. You could go into black or anything like that. And I'm not painting inside where I have my feet. So basically I'm being real careful not to paint brown in my feet. Y'all see that? I'm painting around the whole thing. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to rest that part. So I've wiped off my brush. And now I'm going to come up here to this beak and the eye. So I'm going to use black. So I'm going to take my black here and I'm going to go in. I have a little bit. I don't have a lot of water on my brush. I have more paint than I do anything else. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do the top beak and the bottom beak. Then I'm going to do a little baby dot. Okay. I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I'm not liking about this bird right now is that I think my beak is too small. Now, if your beak is too small, you could add, I'm going to add a little bit of a hump to mine. Do you see that? I went outside of the lines there. I kind of like that better. Okay, he's working on it. He's working. Okay, so we've done all the colors once. This is fantastic. Is everybody with me? Yeah, maybe. Give me a heads up, maybe. Give me a thumbs up. So I'm now going to go in and I'm going to go back to my red because we need to make it brighter. Because remember, watercolors is a bunch of layers. So if you take a look at this one right here, look at how many layers of red I have in this head right here. Anytime you do red and red and red and red layer over and over again, once it dries, it gets darker and darker and darker. So I'm going to come over here and get some red on my brush. I still don't have a lot of water on my brush. And I'm going to come in. And I'm not painting the whole thing with red. I'm just painting a few places with red. I'm also, you see how I'm doing, I'm stroking. I'm not actually painting the whole thing. I am paying attention to like, okay, this is fur. Fur has little hairs, right? So I'm coming in and I'm adding little hairs to the whole thing. All right, now see, I'm liking this better. When I add the second layer to most everything I do, that's when I start liking it a little bit better. So we're going to go back through our rainbow of our pretty bird here. You know, I think I need, well, I'm going back into my orange. I'm going to come in here and do the same thing. Okay, I'm doing literally the same thing that we just did. So I've added orange. I'm wiping off my brush, getting some water on my brush. Coming over here and getting me some green. And I'm coming in. And I'm adding some. And how do we make it blend? We're going to add some water to it, right? Going to go back in, get some water. You don't need a whole lot of water. You could have this thing turned into a hot puddle mess if you want, but I'd like you to not. We don't want hot puddle messes. I'm going to go into my blue. I have a lighter blue first. Not touching it. Also, be careful. Don't get too much water on your brush or it becomes hard to control. That's one of the things about this class, right? Is that you have to control how much water you have on your brush. Okay, so I'm now going to blend these two colors together. And how do we do that? We add some water. So I've got some water and I'm coming in and I'm adding, oh, there we go. That's pretty, 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 pretty. Getting my darker blue. I'm coming in and sometimes I'm just dabbing. Oh, do you all see what I just did there? I just messed that up. Oh well. I added the dark blue on top of my blue. Or my light blue. That's alright. I'm going to come down here to my tail now. And did you all notice I forgot to do my tail? Oh! Why didn't y'all say? What about the tail? Yeah, I forgot the tail. That's like kind of important, Megan. So, same process, right? Adding color. Dipping it on my brush. Getting some color. I'm doing little bitty strokes now. And because this is such a small area, I may not blend this as much. So I'm coming in and I'm taking a lot of paint on my brush and I'm just kind of making little baby brush strokes. Because, yeah. Remember, this is a tail, and the tail has all those feathers that doing. If we don't make these little brush strokes, it doesn't look like feathers, right? It just looks like a block of color. Now, I have found what I'm missing here. This right here is bothering me. The top of the wing. And you want to know why? It's because I think it needs to have a little bit of red in it. So I'm going to come in here, take a little bit of red, and add it to the top part. Yeah, that's better. And if it's too much red, okay, like some of you might be freaking out on me. Don't be freaking out. Just add some water to it. Let it blend itself out. That's exactly what I wanted to do. That's better. Okay? We still got to work on this face. Before we work on that face, I think I'm going to come back down here to the branch. So I'm going to go get me some more brown. And I'm adding some brown. Yeah, that's better. Yes, yes, yes. So we got to worry about these feet though, don't we? Alright, so if we're going to do the feet. Feet are, I'm going to call them orange. They're kind of a black, brown, ugly color. So we're going to start with orange. And just kind of add them right there. So a lot of parrots have some kind of pattern around their eye right there. So this is when we work on our skills of making this nice and easy. Okay, so I'm actually going to rotate my paper so I can get to my eye just a little bit better. And I'm going to get me some pure orange, but I'm not going to have a whole lot of water on my brush. I'm going to have more paint than I am water. So when you have more paint than water, you can actually see it on your brush more. And I'm going to make little bitty hatch marks. That's little baby ticks. All the way around, over and over the eye. Now, this takes practice, so if you don't feel comfortable with this, you could get a piece of paper out and practice and see if you can't. See how small you can get these little notches. That is one option. All right, now that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I have made an eyeball. Now, so I've done, everything has had one coat of something, right? But my black. So I'm coming back to my black. I've washed my brush out with my water, and I'm now bringing in my black, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to fix that. So you see there's that beak. I've gone outside of the lines that I drew, and I'm adding just a little bit more black. All right. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Remember I said those feet also had black in them? So I'm going to come in and just add a little bit of black. And because these are wet, it's blending, and that's exactly kind of what I wanted. All right, I feel like we've done it. Now everything has 2 layers on it, right? Now, I don't know about you, but my wing is still pretty wet. So I'm going to give it even more of a rest. So that means I'm going to work on my background just for a little bit. You don't want to have a whole lot of water on your brush when you do this. I went with green. So I'm going to take some green, and you want to get close to your bird, but not too close. And I'm taking a whole lot of paint on my brush at the beginning, and then I'm going out. I'm working on my tornadoes. How do we do our tornadoes? We start with a whole lot of paint, and then we ease up. A whole lot of paint, we push down hard, and then we ease up. Push down, and then we ease up. Now, even in this area where I have my little hair coming up, I'm staying far, far, far away from it. I don't have to go into every single one of those little knickknacks and crannies and cracks. We don't have to do that. So, because I'm not using a whole lot of water for this, that's the reason why my paper's not bending over as much. You also don't have to paint to the whole edge of your piece, right? Sometimes it's really nice to have this white space around it, okay? Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come in here and work on my bird just a little bit more. How is everybody doing? Because what I want to do is I want to actually what I actually really want to do is have do another layer of that red, because I want it a whole lot more brighter, okay? And I also want to get to the point where we can actually scribble on it. You see how I've done those scribbles? That scribbles is very, very, I have found a lot of people have said afterwards that if once I do the scribbles, I like that so much better. So, but you have to have a dry canvas or a piece of paper first. So I'm coming in here and I'm taking my red and I'm coming in and I'm not doing a whole bunch of it. I'm just doing it a little bits. And I'm literally just coming in, adding some hair to it. Yeah. Just like that. I'm going to come in here. This time, I'm not going to be so worried about blending in this area of the bird. Do you see how I have some big, bold strokes here? This is after it's dried a little bit like it is right now. And I'm coming in with just pure orange. I don't have a lot of paint or water on my brush. And I'm making some strokes there. Making some strokes. Okay. I'm going to come in. I'm going to get some green. Do that. Do you see how every time I add just a tiny bit of more color to it, the brighter the whole thing gets? And has anybody noticed that every time you do watercolor, it looks so good wet, right? And then it dries and it's so light. Well, watercolor does that. It dries lighter than what you put down. So that's why layers are so important. So with that being said, I'm going to come in here, go into my brown branch, and I'm going to add darker brown to the bottom of it. You know, yellow would have been a good color to actually use on inside this bird somewhere. Okay, so here we are. Next, what we're going to do, I'm going to actually make my background a little bit darker because it needs to be a little bit darker also. How's everybody doing? We are about 15 minutes away from calling it quits. I would love to see your all's paintings of your parrot. And so if you do, just make sure you tag Megan Bailey Gill. Some of you have my text. You can text me. Sometimes it's nice on this background to add a completely different color into that green. So this is green, but I'm adding a darker color down here at the bottom, mainly just because, well, it's a pretty teal color. Okay, I'm liking that. That's working for me. So, here's what I think I'm going to do next. Believe it or not, I'm going to see what you all can do this or not. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. Okay, so see, that didn't work so well. You can't barely even tell where I did it. So, you know what I'm going to do next? I've wiped my brush off. I'm going to go into my pink. And I'm going to come in here and just add a little bit of that pink color, which then is going to add, if it's with a blue, it's going to add it more purple. Ooh, now see, that looks more like a parrot to me when I added that purple into it. They have really pretty purple stuff, don't they? All right. Another little shading hint that I can have is get some brown. Because brown and red are so close to each other, you could add some dark brown. You see when I added that dark brown into this side of the bird, how I've made it darker now. So that's another thing that you should pay attention to, is that you don't always have to use the same color. Like, you don't have to use red and red. You can use red and brown. You could use brown and blue and see what colors you get. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit darker here. I think my beak needs a little bit more. So I don't have a whole lot of paint on my brush, or water on my brush. I'm coming in to my black. And I'm coming in and I'm adding just a little bit of black there. I think I'm going to see if I can't add another more little black there on his eyes and on his little baby feet. Okay, guys. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Now, this is still pretty wet, so I don't know if I'm going to get to my, well, I'm going to hit it with my dryer so I can get to that, okay? So, this is my little heat gun. It's called a Ranger Heat It tool. It's basically a little baby hairdryer, but it's not that loud. I mean, it might be loud to you guys, but I can hear a whole lot with it. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do some of my pen work. Remember, when you outline something, you don't want to make it perfect. Do you see how my outlines are a little bit of everywhere? That's what we're going for. We want messy outlines right now, okay? Because it adds some visual interest to it. We're just telling the viewer, hey, there's some details here I don't want you to miss. So to test to see if this is how wet this is, I'm going to come down here first. And that's not too bad. See, that was still wet, but that's okay. So I'm going to just go for it. Here we go. So you see, I'm making it look like sometimes it's just little scribbles. And especially when I get into this wing part, I'm doing each color little by little. Yep. That's not bad. One of the reasons I am kind of messy with this is because, well, it kind of covers up some of your mess ups when you're messy like this. Now, if you had a thing in class and they were looking for details, this is not the way to do it. You do not scribble when you're working on little baby details. Or, right? This is the type of artwork we're doing. This is practice. We're just trying to get it down on paper. Okay, guys. How you doing? I'm adding a little bit of black stuff right next to this eye, just a little bit, because a lot of times they have this weird, it comes out. So this is still a little weird to me, but I think I should have made it come out too much. That's okay. This is just practice, right? And you see how this part right here bled a little bit? So here's what I'm going to do to fix that. I've got some water on my brush. Apparently I had some black on my brush too. And I'm going to blend it. Now, how do we blend it? We get some water on our brush, right? And we keep on moving it around. So I'm pushing down hard on it, and then I'm making it lightly go around. I think I'm going to make this a little darker down here too. Okay, guys, tell me if you have any questions, because we're about to call it quits. Tomorrow we're doing our little pirate guy that goes with this guy. He should be kind of fun. So what we're going to do is learn how to draw people again. We're going to learn how to do, what else are we going to learn how to do? We're going to learn a little bit about hats. We're going to learn about white and how to draw white. Okay, guys. Tell me something. How you doing? I'm waiting on y'all to say I am drawing, right? Like I'm painting. Leave me alone, lady. That's okay. I get it. All right. So that is our parrot for the day. We're going to do, I'm going to just repeat back a couple things. So Tuesday is our pirate. And the reason we were going to do pirates and this is that they were going to fit together. But, you know, that's not going to be right now. So this is what we're going to do Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we're doing a little baby chicks. Yes, we are. Little baby chicks. And isn't he a little cute? He's so cute. All right. And then on Thursday, we're going to do some bunny rabbits. Yes, this is my Peter Rabbit. I might watch Peter Rabbit before I actually do the class because, well, it looks like a fun little movie, right? And who doesn't love Peter? He gets in so much little trouble. Okay, so we have, oh, and you know what else? Make sure you sign your work, right? Good artists sign their work. So I signed my work at the bottom there. You see that? It's just my initials. And so this is what we're going to be on Tuesday. We're going to work on pirates. Wednesday, we're doing little baby chicks. And then Thursday, we're doing bunny rabbits. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So we can hop, 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 hop with all of Hopefully the Easter Bunny comes to your house. You know, with COV, with the virus going around. I hope he still comes. Okay, guys. I will see you all tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We are working on the Pirates. And you all have been fantastic. We first start with an exercise, and then we actually work on the drawing of the actual stuff. Okay? I'll see you all later.